Alright guys, I've been asked to make this video I don't even know how many times, but I'm going to do the pros and cons in my personal opinion of the operating systems I use. Now I use 4 operating systems in my house. I use Windows Vista Home Basic, I use Mac OS X Leopard, I use Xubuntu Hardy, and I also use PC BSD. Now, after spending tons of time with each and every operating system, I will give you my conclusions. Now, we'll start off with Linux, alright, because it's obviously my favorable of all the operating systems. Now, here's the pros of Linux, alright? Everything works. It's nice, it's friendly, it just, I don't know, in my opinion, it's just the most unflawed stability I've ever seen, and I love it. It's just brilliant. Now let's get into the flaws. What I don't like about it. All right, dual monitoring, having 2 monitors is an issue, and getting apps from one SKU of a desktop environment is sort of hard on another desktop environment. Like right now, I'm using XFCE, and I'm having a little bit of composite issues with, Compiz Fusion, which means I can't have a little eye candy on my XFCE, Xubuntu, desktop. So those are the kind of things that annoy me on Linux. But otherwise, I love the operating system. Now let's move on to Mac OS X. What I like about Mac OS X, all the applications seem to stream together, and they all fit nicely. It runs great, and it's just a brilliant operating system. Now, what I don't like about Mac OS X. Alright, when Mac OS X goes to sleep, here's the thing. What it does, it's not like other operating systems, like Windows hybrids, which I hate, and Linux does something very different. But what Mac OS X does when it goes to sleep on, what it does is it takes, it saves everything you're doing to the RAM, and it goes to sleep. Now, it's for convenience because when you touch the mouse, it automatically wakes back up. But if you do it the wrong way, it's you kind of screw up your shutting down, and you have to install different sleep programs to prevent this. And I don't care for that. Or if you do screw it up, you have to go into your system files and delete the preference, and then refresh and reload Finder. Now that's okay and all, but that's just a bit of a problem. Another thing I hate is that there's tons and tons of buried features and SKUs and tons of the operating system. Like they don't want you to know about it. Like there's several things you can change in the date and time. There's several things you can change in the wireless settings that you just don't see. It's not in the GUI. You have to search for it. And Preview is one of these applications that has so many features that are so awesome buried within it. You don't even know about it. You have to type terminal codes and stuff. It's like, why not just include it on the front Apple? Another thing is, there's tons of proprietary in the operating system. Although the operating system is very, very open source compared to Windows, it's still closed source in a lot of ways. Like Time Machine doesn't work with the regular air storage. Air storage is where you plug in a USB hard drive into an airport express and use that. Time Machine doesn't work with that. You have to have a time capsule, or you have to have an external hard drive plugged directly into your Macintosh, which is a pain in the ass, especially if you're doing a little bit of networking like I'm doing. And it sucks. It sucks. I don't even know. It's just fucking awful. I'd have to buy the time capsule. I don't want to do that. Especially since my mom uses a laptop, so if I wanted to back up her information, I'd have to get an external hard drive or use Time Capsule, which is so proprietary and so monopolistic of Apple, it just makes me pull my hair. So, it's little things like that. Now with BSD, it's a great operating system. It can run Linux apps pretty well, and it's just, it runs great. But the thing is, I wanted to run FreeBSD, but the thing is, I have to install everything. I have to install a GUI, and I have to install... It's just a pain in the ass. Oh yeah, one last thing on the Macintosh. Alright, if you didn't notice, the Macintosh has a little bit of a mouse lag that other operating systems don't. And I've noticed this switching back through several other operating systems, and that kind of bugs the hell out of me sometimes. So the thing with PCBSD is it has a pre-installed GUI, but I don't like the pre-installed GUI, and I don't know. I've had a lot of trouble with Unix-based operating systems aside from Mac OS 10. Just randomly, like, I don't know, like screensavers and basic things like that don't work sometimes. And Unix is a hard code to learn. Okay, I mean, I know a little bit of Java, and you basically need to know the basics of Unix in order to run the operating system. And since I switched back from NT based and GNU based operating systems all the time, I don't think I have enough time to usually focus on Unix, and that's how I feel. Especially if you're trying to network these with GNU and NT based operating systems. Now with Windows. The only pro I seriously have for Windows, is that it has a lot of developers. Honestly, Windows is freaking trash for me. I've had so many problems with Windows, it's not even funny. Like, I've had blue screen to death because I try to hook up hardware to it, and Vista especially. Now, Vista in general, here's my problems with it. Although I think XP was tolerable. I didn't think it was good. I thought it was tolerable. All right, it was tolerable. I could live with XP. Okay, I couldn't. I can't live with Vista. I honestly just give it to my brother because he's a casual user and he won't mind it. But being a geek that I am, it is a pain in the fucking ass. First off, Windows, it doesn't even do the most basic things other operating systems do. Other operating systems, dude, they defrag themselves. They defrag themselves. They check. It's just, it works. And then the NT kernel updates slower than fucking, oh my god. What is it? How long has it been since the NT kernel has been updated? A year since Service Pack 1? Oh my god. It's just ridiculous. I mean, seriously, if you were a serious computer company, you should be updating your kernel of your operating system every couple of months just to keep little bugs out. And they don't do that. Microsoft doesn't care. Microsoft caters to the soccer moms, so they don't cater to most of us geeks out there who really need the kernel updated so we have optimal primal security. And if we don't, we have to install third-party apps. And that's another thing. The operating system by itself is fucking garbage. Without third-party apps, the operating system is just horrible. I can't run this. I can't run that. I can't do basic things like have freaking multiple desktops. I mean, seriously, how old is this? I mean, seriously, Vista is an operating system that should have been released about 2002. That's how old it feels. I mean, and then networking's a pain. Everyone says that networking with Windows is flawless. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I've had so much problems. You have to install drivers. You have to make sure they're Vista drivers and not XP drivers. You have to make sure that they're NT DOS drivers and not DOS drivers. You gotta. Oh my god. So basically, overall, I just haven't had anything positive really about Windows, other than the fact that if I go to Walmart or I go to a non-fancy store, I could just buy a piece of software and automatically work. But it, like for networking and I just can't see any. Like the only person I can see using Windows well is a person that like goes on their email and uses iTunes or some basic program like that, and that's it. I could never see it as a very, geeky like machine. You know, I don't see it as a network machine. I don't see it as a server. I think it's just crap as an overall operating system. It, like people say Linux is crippled. I think Windows is one of the most crippled operating systems I've ever used. And literally, it's for casuals. It's for, soccer moms. It's for people that don't do a lot with their computer. It's not for, geeky people at all. I mean, seriously, when there's a problem, I want to go and fix it. I don't want to wait for Microsoft year-long ass to go and fucking fix it for me. Because I've had to reinstall Windows, I don't even know how many times due to bad installs and crap like this. And since I can't even open up a goddamn command line, that command line's a piece of shit. It's useless. And, yeah. So those are my opinion. Those are my cons with Windows. I know my cons with Windows have took up like 6 minutes of this video. I am sorry, but there's so many. And that's what I think about these. If you have pros and cons, feel free to post them below. Send them out.